Well, that cut off rather abruptly, didn't it? It didn't even fade out or anything. It just went, and suddenly we're here.
We made it.
I don't know who's designing their graphics, but I'm not sure about that one. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
How are we doing?
Good evening. Good morning.
That was a new. Yeah, we need to find out. I don't know what's happened to my old graphics. We'll need to find them. How are we doing? It's been a few weeks since we've been here. Are we all good? What's been going on? Anything interesting?
No.
Zero.
Anxious to see what the spring summer concerts in the Northern Hemisphere.
Before we what I should have done is I'm just not organised, and when I had my little intro I should have thought about this, but I didn't because I'm daft. It's Stefano's birthday.
Happy birthday!
Tomorrow.
Happy birthday, sir.
And I was going to queue up altered images, you know, happy birthday, but I'm not on it. I'm
Claire Grogan.
I'm not on it. So
Helen, you've got the Claire Grogan hair and the eyes and the smile.
Well, you'll have to just make do with me and Jim going, happy birthday. And that's it. That's your lot.
It's technically it's tomorrow, but it's today for you in Scotland.
We can have a 2-day birthday. It's fine.
I don't even want a 1-day birthday.
I know, but it's been acknowledged now, so that's it. Right. Hello to everyone out there on the internet. We are live streaming on, where are we at? YouTube, Twitch ×2, Mixcloud. Actually, let me just check that Mixcloud went live, and Twitter live, because I still somehow managed to have my thing that I said I was getting rid of. So I think that next month we probably won't have Twitter live. I'll check this after. I forgot what I was doing. I was looking for Mixcloud. Ooh, somebody's getting a phone call.
Line one.
Somebody's popular.
Line one.
All right, are we good? If you need to mute,
I'm good.
If you need to mute and take it, it's okay. It's fine.
No, it's not.
We haven't kicked off yet. All right, so
nothing important. I don't know why he's
there. We go. Okay, I can hear myself in the background. We don't want that. Right, so that's all going out live. Fine. All right, so we've got some more eyeballs coming in. Hello, everyone joining us. You can join in. You can, let us know what you think of the tracks. We will open up the emails at random, have a little listen, and decide whether we think the songs that we're playing are a hit or a miss. So I think we'll do that now, because I feel like we've done our small talk, and nobody's got anything to say. And we've acknowledged Stefano's birthday, which is the most important thing, so that's
yep.
I need to go back. Can we remember what we listened to, what the last thing was that we listened to last time? Can anybody remember? I know we had Colour Theory and... Yeah, there it is. It was a Second Complex and Colour Theory.
Yeah, that was the guy that worked with... who was someone that he knew somebody? He knew somebody from... what was the band?
Yeah, it was a famous band.
I'm not sure, but it was a collaboration, and I think it was a hit. We really liked it, if I remember correctly. So, can we see the emails that have come up? That's fine. So, immediately after that, immediately after that, we have one, The Greeting, new music submission, and we haven't seen that band before, so let's have a look. That jumped over. It has. Okay.
Yes.
I think we'll just play it and then we'll go back and read the email after, because I think that seems to work better than reading the blurb first and then... Has that jumped? No, it hasn't. Okay, stop sharing. Open that one. And I've got a whole bunch of things here. Docs, JPEG, and I've got an MP3. So let's play it. Let me know if we've got sound.
Yep.
You rather way down, falling down on us. New world order, rain down, coming down on us. What do you want from me? What do you need? You took everything from me. It's over. Why did you bring me down? How does it feel? You took everything from me. It's over. It's all you. Now it's over. You said I'd take good care of you. What do you want from me? What do you need? You took everything from me. It's over. What do you want from me? What do you need? You took everything from me. It's over. You're gonna go. Why did you bring me down? How does it feel? You took everything from me. It's over. You go. You're going the wrong way.
Okay. Hang fire while we just stop sharing that. Stefano, do you want to go first?
Sure. Thanks.
You're welcome.
I don't know what to say. It's not really my cup of tea, obviously. It might have been when I was like a kid in the 80s. I don't know. Yeah, it's. I don't really have much to say. Like, I'm kind of almost like left without words. It's not like for what it is. I guess it's not terrible. It's a rock, kind of like obviously 80s inspired rock, kind of straightforward thing. But I don't know if it's got enough redeeming qualities and musicality for me to actually, recommend it. It got my head bopping just because of the driving. When you have a beat and the guitar kind of almost arpeggiating that same thing, it's just out of habit. But yeah, I'm kind of dumbfounded. It's just not my wheelhouse. It seems a little. I don't know. I don't want to say cheesy, but I mean, if it is cheesy, it wasn't done on purpose, which is not good. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan, unfortunately. I don't think the vocal was also. It seems really affected and trying to be like emotional, and it's not really. I don't know. It's not my thing. I'm sorry. Next.
It's all good.
Jim, you go next.
All right. Thank you very much, birthday boy.
You're
right
welcome.
up, right up there. Well, remember, like in the 80s and the early 90s, and hair bands were, maybe some of you don't remember. Anyway, back when I was a youth, the 80s, early 90s were an era here in the States where, and even in North America in general, where a lot of hair bands, the hair and spandex bands, the hair, the makeup and all that stuff, and the glam stuff was very prevalent in the country. It was making millions of dollars for A&R and for radio stations and record companies and all of that. And then all of a sudden, I think alternative and indie music came out, and subsequently grunge. And the sound of this song was kind of reminds me of that last gasp of air that was emitted from the hair and spandex era in the early 90s. Bands like Winger and Faster Pussycat were on life support when bands like Smashing Pumpkins and Material Issue and Soundgarden, and if you want to go grungy, Pearl Jam and Nirvana and all that stuff came into play and pretty much put an ixnay on the big hair and the makeup and all that stuff and that sound. Definitely an 80s hairband vibe with this particular song. The vocals were average, but it did kind of, not in a negative or a slamming way. If anybody in the audience or our replay viewers remember the song Love and Affection by the band Nelson,
Oh yeah.
you can hear crickets chirping on
Oh,
that one. But yeah, but it sounded like there were two like brothers singing. I felt like Nelson was going to come in with their long blonde hair and spin around and, do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, they were trying too hard to make a rock single here, guys. At least to me, it sounds like this was right when Winger was being made fun of on Beavis and Butthead in the early to mid '90s. This band wanted to be that band on that T-shirt that Stewart was wearing. Not that I'm saying it's a bad band. The production quality was decent for a rock band. Again, I'm of all the four people in this room, I'm probably the rocker guy in here. I will listen to Slayer. I will listen to Anthrax. I will listen to Megadeth. I will listen to, a lot of the, gruntkore and, Danish and Swedish death metal stuff. But I was the guy that liked Slayer, not Bon Jovi. This has been done before, unfortunately. There's no real hooks if you're looking at it from a rock perspective. I don't remember any distinctive guitar solos here. There weren't any kind of drum fills or nothing. There wasn't like a bass thing, you know. Vocals were okay, but it's been done before. Back to you, Jeeves.
Right, Jeeves?
Alrighty, I'll take it all together. What they said. This is actually, I think these guys will make it like it's more radio friendly. So it'll be played in the radio. The mix is all good, everything good. It sounds like any band in the 90s, like rock bands like Pearl Jam, like Smashing Pumpkins, all that, right? So it's not like heavily like strong vocals or strong this thing. No, it made it in the like pop punk and all that kind of stuff and hair trash. So it's not our cup of tea or whatever. I liked it just to be in a general radio friendly song, whatever. If it comes on the radio, yeah, I'll tune to it, whatever. But I don't think it's gonna go anywhere than that, farther than that, because that's what they are going for. It's a more simple song, simple this thing. It just sounds like any other '90s bands that came out back in like indie rock back in the day. That's all it sounds. It doesn't like if I were to listen to this, I would not define. Okay, that's the band. No, because they don't have that sort of thing because they sound like every I would think this is like Pearl Jam or someone else, instead of being that band because they all sound exactly the same how they wrote the song. The structure's there, you know, the same structure, same everything they did, pretty much. And the drop down was kind of cool and they did a little bit of guitar there and there. Everybody has done it already, so it's just a copycat, pretty much. But I know this will get radio play for them. That's about it. But I don't know if they could, as a band, I don't know if they would go far. Nah. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. It's not like wowed me or anything, but it's just like any other band in the 90s that I listened to that I was fan of. And my band did cover some of those songs back in the day when we played pop punk and other things. So, yeah. And that's it.
Okay, so we've got another one of those situations where I hate always going last because everything else has already been covered. I don't hear hair band. I hear what Americans call punk when it was like suddenly in the late 90s, early 2000s, like Green Day era. Like when Brits say punk, we think sort of Sex Pistols, Clash, 1976,
You know,
that kind of
UK
stuff.
subs, fears,
Whenever Americans talk
laughs.
about punk, they're talking about Green Day, and that's what it sounds like to me, punk pop. And it sounds like a million other things. And I wouldn't hear this song and instantly know that it's this band. And it wasn't bad, but it wasn't unique. And when I'm listening to something that's not usually my genre, because everybody knows here, like, I'm electronica, synthy, that's my thing, right? If it's got a synth in it, I love it. So when I'm listening to something that's not quite in my wheelhouse, you use the word wheelhouse, right? It's not quite in my wheelhouse. I'm listening for it to sound unique to that band. You know, would I hear this and know that it's them? And I wouldn't with this. It just sounds like a million other. And when I was listening to it, what came to mind was the closing titles of just about any teen flick. You know what I mean? Like, it sounded like the music that would get played at the end of the film when the titles are going up.
A late 80s sex comedy or a
Not even late 80s, Jim. Like, more recent than that. Like,
really
like
American Pie era, like 2000.
Yeah, I think it's American Pie. I was gonna say
American
that.
Pie
Really?
era. Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like something that would be
Okay.
played at the end of one of those films.
Okay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's
Right.
just like,
I know.
meh,
Cool.
meh.
I think. Can I say a word just for just
One
on
one
that?
word.
It's
one.
funny how we all. I can't.
No, we're joking. One.
I find it weird how we all chose a different decade, because for me, I don't living in Canada. That's what a lot of sounded like that were amateur in the 80s, 2000. I think grunge killed them off. I don't think this sounds anything grungy.
Mhm.
And I think the reason it might have been on a movie in the 2000s, because I think they're trying to pretend they're trying to be like retro 80s kind of feel. So I think for me, this is so 80s. So when I'm hearing everyone say a different decade, I'm like, ooh, growing up in Canada, this is exactly what all those bands sound like that were trying to sound like rocker bands. Like, and maybe they were trying to emulate British, like you're saying, like British punk. Maybe that's what the 80s sound was for Canada. But that is, like, you'd think that, yes, Loverboy said, oh, you know all the three. Yeah, like there's a little bit of Honeymoon Suite in there, you know, that kind of
Oh
stuff.
my God! Yeah.
Right? Platinum Blonde.
Yep.
So much stuff. But, like, I feel like, yeah, I don't know. It's fun. I just found it funny how we all chose different decades. That's all I want to say.
But I think it's funny, but it's probably not too unexpected, because when you think about how long it takes for things to translate, it's usually Europe and the UK first, and then it eventually finds its way to the States. And I'll use electronica as an example of that. Like, they were like 5 or 6 years behind anything that was happening here at that time. And that happens with quite a lot of musical sort of genres. I hear people talking about Chicago House, and Chicago House was like 10 years after what was already happening. That was already happening in the UK 10 years earlier. So,
Oh wow.
when we're talking about a different, different decades, I think that's because music takes a long time. Like, America's always been very rock centric, especially commercial radio. It's always been very rock centric, and anything else has difficulty actually breaking through there unless it's unless it's country or it's, rock centric. And there's a lot of stuff that's been, unless you're talking little radio stations, Jim. I know there are some people like yourself that are music heads that are familiar with, new wave and, but for the most part, that's not mainstream over there. And I think it takes a little bit longer for stuff to, like, I'm sorry to generalize Americans. I'm so sorry, but like, whenever you think electronica, they always say Depeche Mode, and Depeche Mode didn't become big in the States until after they did the Rose Bowl in '86.
How about Kraftwerk, guys?
But Depeche Mode were going since 1980. Their first hits were 1981, so that was 5 years after the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl was '86, right? And they finally got some prominence after they did the Rose Bowl in '86.
That's the
But
one.
they'd already been going for 5 years by that point, and that happens with a lot of music genres.
Right.
So that could be why it sounds. That could be why we're talking different decades. I mean, what we class as punk isn't really, like, when I hear Americans. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I know, and it's funny we've got 2 Canadians on the panel. So,
Yeah.
but generally when Americans talk about punk, they're usually talking about like pop punk, Green Day, and that's not punk. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Give me Exploited. Give me
That's
the
pop
music.
punk.
Punk
Give me
is
fear.
never mind the bollocks. It's London Calling. It's that whole
Exactly. Crass.
pre post punk new wave thing. That and there were a few bands around at that time that went on to become more commercial. I mean, Blondie were a punk band to start
Yeah.
with. A
I
lot
think
of
Black
bands started
Flag
off
is
in the
another good
punk
one.
Oh,
scene.
fun fact:
Black
Blondie's the
Flag.
lead singer passed away.
What?
Yeah,
Debbie
Henry
Harry?
Rollins?
yeah,
Who?
What?
yeah. Did you
Who's
guys not
who?
hear
What?
about
Sorry.
it?
Right,
That's what my
Henry
girlfriend told me.
sorry,
Who, what?
sorry. Can we just, because we all spoke at the same time,
Right.
did you just say Blondie's lead singer passed away?
No,
Yeah,
no,
or
no.
or somebody from that band
It
passed away. That's
was
Yeah,
why my
Clem Burke,
drummer.
the
Not
yeah,
drummer.
that's it.
Drummer.
That's it. Sorry,
Yeah.
Drummer.
sorry, my
Burke,
bad.
Clem Burke.
Yeah.
We have to all
No.
stop. We have to all stop talking at the same time,
Yeah.
one at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clem Burke passed away earlier in the week, but don't be saying like Debbie Harry. Don't be
No.
spreading misinformation on my channel, James.
Sorry, I
Fucking
misspoke.
hell.
Sorry, that was my girlfriend that gave me the information.
No,
But that
my
Vicky's
was
going to
goodness.
get a bit up the backside. No. But again, very, very underrated drummer, actually, Clem Burke. Cracking drummer. That's a sad loss. I think it was quite a long-term thing, though. I think they knew he was unwell for a while. Anywho, let's not bring things down. Shall we read the email, do you think?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, so let's reopen it. Let's see if we can. We've all said what we thought their influences were. Let's see if it tells us in the email. Oh, hang on, that's opened the wrong thing. Sorry. Go back to. All right. A grunge, grunge indie rock anthem for moving on and letting go. I wouldn't have said there was anything grunge about that, to be fair.
Or indie.
I would say a little bit of indie, but
Do I
not.
need to make this a little bit bigger? Can you guys see it okay? Hang on. Let me see if I can magnify it so we can all actually see it.
God.
That better? A little bit?
Oh, there you
Yes.
go.
Okay.
Delighted.
All right. So, a grunge indie rock anthem for moving on and letting go. Hi, Helen. Hi. We are absolutely delighted to bring you the Greetings brand new single, Over. The sophomore single, such an American word, we don't use that word here,
Suffers.
will hopefully interest you and your audience. All of the info you need is below, but if you need anything else, just let us know. Hang on, what is this info we're getting here? Galway, Clare, Ireland, the greeting, the exciting collaboration. I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's the exciting new collaboration between Paul Dillon, PMAD, and Liam Martin, Big Generator, announces the release of their latest single, Over. Is that what we just heard? Was that the name of the track, Over? On December the 6th, 2024. Okay, we're a bit late with this, I think. Blending elements of grunge, indie, and alternative rock, Over is the follow-up to the band's successful debut, Need. With driving riffs and introspective lyrics, the track is a must-hear for fans of Nirvana, the Pixies, and Radiohead. I didn't hear any of those influences in this track
I didn't hear no
at
Nirvana.
all. Over will be available for download and streaming across all major platforms and is set to feature on the Greetings debut album arriving in 2025. Quote from the Greeting: "We're delighted to release Over. It's all about moving beyond drama, hypocrisy, and hate in the world. We're over it, and we hope our listeners are too." So that's interesting. I didn't hear any of the influences that they're citing, and also based in Galway, so they're Irish. And again, it sounded like they were singing in an American. Sounded like they were singing in an American
Yeah, the influence are
voice.
all American.
And
Yeah.
I'm half Irish too. How dare you?
No, I didn't hear any Irish twang in there at all.
No.
Okay.
You must be really young.
Go
Maybe
listen
they
to
need a
Nirvana.
fiddle player.
I'm not sure, but we've had PMAD has sent music in before, and I can't remember, but I'm sure we voted on one of their tracks. But okay, I guess we vote. What do we think? Was it a hit or was it a miss? What are we thinking? Okay, I feel a bit conflicted. I'm going to say hit just because there wasn't anything wrong with it. It wouldn't get played on Helen's mixtape, but that doesn't mean that there's anything. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's not Helen's mixtape. So, split down the middle there. The greeting. We're split down the middle, but thank you for sending in your track. No one in the comments has said anything. We've got a few people sitting here watching, lurking, not saying anything. Come in and say hi. Don't be shy. Come in and comment. If you're on, I see there's quite a lot of people on Twitter/X Live. If you're on the mobile version of that on your phone, we won't see your comments coming in. You'll have to come onto a desktop version or come into Twitch or YouTube to comment. All right, let's get back into the emails then. That was a bit of a shame.
Yeah, a lot of red flags. Didn't sound one bit Irish. It didn't sound like Pixies or Radiohead or, dare I say, Nirvana.
Agreed. Yep, I didn't hear any of those influences.
Nope.
Stopping there.
Okay, we've gone. What was that last track? I need to make this. I need to make this smaller because it's too hard to see it when it's big like that. What was that band called? The Greeting. Okay, so that's one we just had. All right, so we've got a few from some what do you call them? Sent in PR companies. Will we just grab the first one that's there and see what's happening? Can we open it? Has that jumped over? Let me check. No, it hasn't.
Nope.
Oh, yes, it has. No, it hasn't.
No, it hasn't.
I hate when that happens when it opens another screen on the other side, but the screen share doesn't jump with it. Okay. Let me know if we have sound.
I'm making I'm making now. You had the time to tell me what was on your mind, but you left me out in the cold, hoping that I would forget that you burned me completely. I can barely say your name, but when I do, I know it will have me aching all the same. I'm aching now. Love has me tied up in knots. I'm aching now. Hurts more than ever before. You had me tied up in your web of lies, taking me, twisting me, hoping you disguise your wickedness, your sinfulness, hiding deep inside your eyes. So when you're near,
Okay, just before we get into it, and I could be completely wrong here, but I think he might be aching now. Maybe.
We got the point. He
Maybe.
needs a massage then.
Jim, do you want to go first?
Absolutely. Thank you, Helen. Well, first of all, this is a breath of fresh air. I mean, I'm liking these different genres of music that we're being exposed to here. Well, the 80s and early 90s hair band protege band preceding this was not exactly my cup of tea. This was, in a strange way, refreshing because I didn't expect something like this to come up here on this Jukebox Jury. And I love the variety here. I just, I, in a weird way, I liked the horns. I liked how the keys played underneath the vocals. It seemed to be mixed pretty good. Maybe the vocals were a little bit too hot, but she had a wonderful voice. She had a beautiful voice. The guy's voice was okay. As I don't know if he was like about to burp or something. At some of the vocals, he was trying to hit some of the higher notes. There were other instances where it was almost like he was having a couple of sodas. Almost had like the guy from Arctic Monkeys kind of doing that. Or dare I say, with that horn accompaniment, it had almost like that whole Blow Monkeys digging your scene 80s, like 80s horn thing going on. It was definitely different than I expected. I mean, maybe you clean up the guy vocals a little bit. In a sick, twisted way. It was definitely unique and compelling.
Jeebles?
Oh, it was good. I loved it. It was very funky. Very, very funky. Yeah, by his vocals, I don't know if he sang it or it was like digital processing that they did that made his vocals like that. It could have been. I don't know. So that's your answer for that one there for that. But the girl's vocal was really good. They kept it much more raw. And this thing, I did hear a lot of processing on it. And she had beautiful, like I I don't know if the actual key range for her was the right key because it seems like she could go on a little more higher key or whatever not. Because when she was trying to actually open up in distance, she couldn't because they were in that key, that roll register that she wasn't able to do. But other than that, it was beautiful. The horns were like really nice and mixed. Yeah, and the way they mix the vocals is upfront vocal, so meaning right in the front, in the middle, in your face, kind of vocal mixing that they do. So that's the technique that we use. We call it upfront vocals. Other than that, everything else nice and mixed nicely and everything. I like the sax solo. Holy man! But I'm trying to get a sax player to come play with us in the band. We do a JJKL a tribute band that I play with right now, and we're looking for a sax player. So this guy is awesome. Whoever played this was amazing.
So you can contact Jeeves at Mr. _Twix and apply for the job as sax. If there's any sax players
Either
out
that or just record it. We'll send you the song and just record it on top of it and give it to us. I'll mix it. No problem. But other than that, superb. Good job, guys. Excellent. I would listen to this again and check more of you guys' stuff for sure.
cool.
And that's me.
Stefano?
Um, I you call it up front. I call it hot. The vocal, it's a little too up front. I think the male vocal, especially. I think I just I just kept wanting to hear her more. It reminded me of, I don't know why, but I kept getting flashbacks of Swing Out Sister, kind of break out. I don't know if you guys remember that song. I wanted it to be like that, but it was a little too. I liked the musicality and I liked all the instruments, but then I found the vocal was too aggressive and hot on the male, as in like too high in the mix, and it kept kind of nagging at me like this could have been better. So I probably would have preferred if it was just a female vocal on it. But yeah, I like the musicality. It's again, it's not completely my wheelhouse either, but I respect authenticity, and I think this showed authenticity with all the cool swingy kind of jazz moments and stuff. I get it. I'm not a big jazz fan at all. It's the only music I can fall asleep to because it's the most disengaging music. Like I can't fall asleep to beautiful classical music because it's engaging, but this I can fall asleep to. But having said that, it's authentic, and I just wish they did something better with the vocal, especially the male vocal. I almost wish it was gone. I wish it was all female, but that's all I have to say.
It's interesting that you just said that because I hate jazz. I've tried so hard to like it.
Yeah,
And
me
you
too.
say, and you
I can't.
saying that just now, you're the only other person that's, because normally I get corrected and people are like, no, 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 you're just not trying hard enough to like it, right?
That's what I get too. I know.
Right?
Yeah, it's for musicians thing. Like they
Uh-huh.
love jazz, and I just
And I just can't, I zone out. I'm completely turned off to it. I just can't. Anyway, whatever. That's an aside. I agree with what you're all saying. I feel like the way that this was mixed, it was very much mixed in such a way that it was his song and she was his like sort of backing singer, rather than it being like a duet or an equal footing. It felt very much like it was his song and she was just there just to make him sound better. Do you know what I mean? That's how it came off. Oh, I've got an echo. Don't know where that's coming from. I don't really know what to say about this. Where am I getting that echo from, guys? Is that coming from one of you?
I don't hear it.
I can hear myself coming back through the speaker.
I hear it. Yeah.
Aye. Which is putting me off I can't cohesively get my thoughts together.
It's gone away now.
I actually quite liked the song, even though this isn't my genre. I actually quite liked it. I thought it was well put together. I agree that it was well constructed. There was nothing wrong with it musically, even though it's not my cup of tea. I understand all the references you're making, Blow Monkeys, Swing Out Sister, yeah, all of that kind of. There was a lot of brass in the 80s, kind of towards the mid to late 80s, which is kind of where I switched off from pop music at that point. Anything after 1986 is a bit hit and miss for me, It wasn't synthy enough by that point. I don't know what to think about this one. It wasn't bad. It wouldn't get played on Helen's mixtape. It's just not my bag, genre wise. I agree. It's funny because when I first heard his vocal, before the music kicked in, when I first heard his voice, I thought he was trying to do a Johnny Lydon. And then the music kicked in and I'm like, oh shit, that's not what I thought this was going to be. But when I first heard him, when I first heard his vocal kick in, I was thinking, maybe not Sex Pistols Johnny Lydon, but PIL Johnny Lydon, I thought. And then when it went all kind of soft swing / kind of jazz-esque, I thought that isn't what I was expecting at all. His voice versus the music was so smooth, and his voice was quite jarring against that. Does that make sense? Like her voice was smooth and incorporated. It kind of felt like it was like a meld, and his just kind of felt a little bit like jarring. And I don't know if that was intentional. I don't really have anything else to add because I feel like you guys covered everything that would normally be, and I've just sat here and chat all over jazz because that's any opportunity that I get, and I like to take a giant steaming dump over jazz. So
It's okay.
I've said all that I need to say. What did you think? Was it a hit or was it a miss?
I played jazz when I first started music. That was my first thing.
I'm gonna begrudgingly.
I'm gonna say, yeah.
Congratulations. Oh, do you know what? We didn't read the email.
It's okay. We can go back and read it now.
We'll go back and read the email, but we've already decided it's a hit. So congratulations to Silva Lining Band. Well done. It's a hit all round. Thank you for sending in your track.
Yay!
We'll go back and read the email because I feel like we should do that. And
Yes, I want to know.
I'll make this a little bit bigger so that we can all read it. Can we see that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Portugal.
Silva, Silva, Someone said to check out more of their stuff, so that's what it was, Silva Lining Band. Aching Now, the band's last single for 2024, departs from the regular MO as this is the first song performed as a duet. See, I wouldn't have called it a duet. I would have called it. It felt like she was his backing singer, with both
Mhm.
Tigo and Katerina taking the limelight, inspired by reggae ballads. The song describes the pain of a relationship that has ended unilaterally. Unilaterally.
Unilatric.
I know what I'm trying to say, but my teeth aren't in properly. Aching Now relies heavily on a cool, understated groove, allowing the singers to deliver powerful, heartfelt performances, even though the duet is a departure from the band's typical approach. That would be interesting to find out what the typical approach is then. The spine-tingling saxophone solo is peak Silva Lining Band, showcasing the band's extremely talented musicians. I would agree, they can all
Yep.
play. Absolutely, they can play.
Mhm.
Born in Lisbon, raised in London, born in London, raised in Lisbon. Oh, that just jumped. Why? 3 generations, 2 cities, 1 family, Nuno, Catarina, and Tiago. Portuguese roots with English charm fused to create the Silva Lining Band. Most people would say less is more, but not when it comes to the Silva family. The more the merrier is the family motto, and Silva Lining is no exception, with the band's debut album, Lisboa, including over 12 musicians spanning various genres ranging from funk to swing, jazz to rock. So I think it would be interesting to check out more of their stuff just because it sounds like
Mhm.
it's varied. You know, it
Yeah, it's
sounds
like
like
a
they're
big
not.
band style.
Yeah, it sounds like they're not like a one-trick pony. It sounds like they do different
Hmm.
um things basically. So yeah, it hit all round. Congratulations, Silver Lightning Band. Well done.
Bravo.
L-
Excelento.
Let's.
Yay!
I'm really. I don't. Before we go on to the next one, we have a lot of eyeballs sitting here watching us not saying anything, and it's a little bit disconcerting knowing that there's like 20 folks sitting there watching, and so if you've got anything to say, by all means, come in and chat. If you're on Twitter X mobile, we won't see your comments, but you can comment from our desktop, or you can come onto YouTube or Twitch. If you search for Leggy Lady 01. I don't know if anybody else has their socials connected. Do any of you guys have anything else connected to this? I don't know if any of the rest of you are streaming it out.
I tried to connect to my Twitch, but it didn't work.
I mentioned it through my X.
It's a weird glitch.
That's odd. Anyway, I think it's odd that people are sitting watching, not saying anything. You bunch of creepy weirdos. Come and say hi.
Lurking.
Lurky lurkers.
Lucky luckers.
Okay.
Come on and say something.
I don't know how many other live streamers sit and call their viewers creepy weirdos. But that's how I roll.
A winning strategy.
That's Helen's thing.
Get your arses in here, you bunch of creepy weirdos.
Yep. It's
That should be in the
stamped.
logo.
Our kind of crowd.
Oh man, I just don't care. Whatever.
Oh my God. Trash Can Sinatra's.
Well, I don't think it is Trash Can Sinatra's. I think it's
Oh,
the
just
dude.
the guy.
I think it's the dude. And remember, we heard his stuff before.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah,
know
we did.
if I want to keep showcasing the same people over and over again. I'd like to try and find, new people. But that sounds interesting. Manchester's Inca Babies. Shall we have a little listen to that? Because
Inca baby.
Babies. Not related to Muppet Babies or anything, right?
Manchester
Mm,
has a good reputation for having decent bands, right? It's got a
Sure.
good musical. It's got a good musical back history, and if a band's from Manchester, for the most part, they're usually pretty decent. So let's
And they can play good football.
let's go into that one. Football, by the way,
Yep.
not soccer. Just
Man, you or
Yep. I said it right. I said football.
Yeah,
I
you-
know,
said
I know,
soccer.
I know, but I'm just emphasizing.
oh,
I'm
but
just
Liverpool was
emphasizing
doing really good. Oh, sorry.
it.
Yeah, they are.
I feel like the '80s, like Liverpool's back again, Man U's back again. It's
Man
like
U's,
I feel like I'm in
yeah.
high school,
They're all back for the season.
right?
I'm looking for
That's that American football stuff.
Inca Babies documentary, Ghost Machine album. I'm looking for.
An MP3?
I'm looking for just a sing. Do we not have just an MP3?
No, I don't see an MP3. You just see links.
There's like
Spotify.
There's a
Apple
YouTube.
Music.
It says documentary. I would have been nice to have just had like one video rather than watching a full. Oh, hang on. There's videos at the bottom.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so shall
It's
we
all the
just
links.
pick one of these random?
The Inca babies.
We'll just pick the first music video that's at the bottom,
Okay.
and let me know if it's jumped. Was it jumped over?
Yeah. Gotta make it full.
We've got sound.
Don't ask questions and don't think twice. Dive into the artificial paradise. Nothing else has half the spice of floating in an artificial paradise. Caters for every earthly vice. With this artificial paradise, a taste of rapture is there to capture, induce excess to always possess. All for pleasure to be precise. Floating in an artificial paradise. Nothing else has half the spice of floating in an artificial paradise. The tape is spliced in a suspected vice, multiplied thrice, garden of earthly delights. Caters for every earthly vice. Floating in this artificial paradise. Don't ask questions and think twice. Dive into the artificial paradise.
Sorry, I've got too many buttons to press, and I almost fell asleep. So I was trying to sort of like recover. I was like, oh,
At least you know that song is Official Paradise or Artificial Paradise.
Jeeves, you go first this time.
I don't know. I feel like if I listen to this song, I'm like, I had to be stoned or something to keep myself awake and just mellow out and be like, oh, all the colors and stuff in the videos. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't my cup of tea. And the way she was singing, it was so nasally vocals. It's just weird. Official Paradise. It's like, okay. It goes with the, it can tell it goes with the band name for sure. 100% the song. I don't know. Really have nothing to say. I'm not a fan. Sorry, guys.
Right,
Just,
are you done?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
We'll just do it So Stefano, you go next. We'll just do it in
Yeah, I
kind of
got this.
clockwise order.
Again, not my wheelhouse, but there is something. I think they were trying to sound like what they're sounding like. I don't like. I get a weird old B-52s feel from it, almost like punky, detached. Um, and also, what's that other band I kind of got from it? I don't want to say Betty Boo because that's completely different, but there's like a 60s reach back into this on purpose. And that's why I think she did that with her voice to sound unaffected, disaffected, uh, and almost like talk about important topics, but in a really detached way. it has a very psychedelic type of. I get what they're trying to do. So it's done on purpose, which I find is a redeeming quality for this. Because if this was done purpose, like they don't know what they're doing and this came out, I'd feel either it's super authentic or it's like they're not doing it. But I think the annoying parts of this were done to be purposely annoying. I don't know if I'm insulting them for that, but I think it has that psychedelic reach back to it. So I wouldn't listen to this. I would if this came on the radio. I'd be like, who? There's terrorists in the radio station that broke in and forced them to play it, kind of a thing. Uh, but yeah, it's it sounds weird, and it sounds weird on purpose. I think so. Not my thing, really. But that's all I
Hey,
have to
look,
say.
it's one of our panels, Retro Maker.
Hi, C Dubs, how you doing?
Hi.
Jimbo.
Howdy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the band, I guess the band's called Speed of Sound. I was going to call it the Speed of Snooze. Who needs the call map? Just put this on for about a minute and you don't have to worry about those stupid pop-up ads ruining your vibe. Uh, uh, I felt like at first when I heard that like kind of that nasally-ish voice, at first when the first song first started, the first thing I heard that beat and that vibe and that sound, for whatever reason, I started thinking of Walking Down Madison by the late Kirsty MacColl. And I was thinking, okay, maybe if we give it another 30 seconds, maybe she gives us some effective vocals, effective verses, effective chorus, something that gives us a little energy here. It'll bring us that vibe, or like maybe like a kind of a chill thing, kind of like a New England by the late Kirsty MacColl. But unlike Speed of Sound, Kirsty MacColl has a thing called vocal range, and she has different registers. And she was very talented at a very young age. Unfortunately, Artificial Paradise was it pretty much described the song. It was pretty much the antithesis of what I wanted, or pretty much a majority of the people who want to hear this. It was just repetitive, redundant. Nothing stood out. I give it an A for effort, but I would be hard pressed to see how this would, unless it was a Kirsty and McCall tribute band or something, somewhere out in unincorporated Iowa here in the middle of the country. I didn't get it. Sorry. Back to you, to our presenter, Helen.
I feel offended on Kirsty MacColl's behalf, to be honest. Who
First, for like the first second, it
Kirsty
sounded
MacColl?
like it. And
Kirsty
all of a sudden,
MacColl, yeah, because Kirsty MacColl is a superb vocalist. She had a
oh my god, I
cracking
loved
voice.
her. Loved her.
Okay. I'll be honest. I felt like I wanted to nod off to sleep. I felt like, and everybody's covered all the things I want to say, but I'm going to say them anyway. It sounded like she desperately needed to blow her nose, and I wanted to pass her a packet of Kleenex. The whole psychedelic thing, yeah, I was getting Ruttles vibes. I don't know if you remember the Ruttles. The Ruttles were a parody band parodying the Beatles, and it was Eric Idle from Monty Python. It had that kind of the animation, the video had that kind of Monty Python slash Beatles slash Ruttles kind of vibe thing happening. But and it almost sounded like, when I was listening to it, it almost sounded like it wasn't in tune. And I don't mean intentionally not in tune. It sounded like they were fucking around with the tempo as well. Like, it sounded like one minute her vocals were in time with the track, and then they weren't in time with the track, and then do you know what I mean? It sounded, I don't know if whoever it was playing was stoned, or I don't know what was going on, but it just wasn't particularly well put together. And I know Stefano says, "Oh, they wanted it to sound like that intentionally." I think you're giving them a little bit too much credit. I think like no.
Jeeves may know this. Maybe it's multi-tracking when they lay down the back.
No, you could hear where it was actually going out of. Like, I think some vocalists do sing half a beat behind or whatever to kind of, stand out. But I don't think that was it. I think there was just a lack of. I think it was very. No, not it wasn't the pitch. C-dubs. It was the actual tempo. It was the speed. Like they weren't in sync with each other. The vocals and the audio, the vocals in the track weren't at certain points weren't in time with each other. And it sounded like like the track was out of. It sounded like there was a guitar riff that was on a loop, but somebody had stepped down the timing of the loop at one point. I don't know. It was aggravating. You couldn't just sit and like listen to this and enjoy it. You'd be too busy picking out all the irritating little flaws. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, maybe the lassie can sing. Maybe we need to hear her on other tracks. Maybe it's just this one. Maybe she had a cold that day. I don't know. But no.
I think she did it on purpose.
In which case, no.
Me
Just
neither.
just don't do that again. No.
Just no.
The thing
Period.
is, I always feel really, really bad for picking on someone's vocals because
Right.
musicianship can be improved, right? You can practice playing an instrument and you can improve and get better at that. But if you can't sing, you can't fucking sing. And if you tell someone you can't sing, you're like basically tearing a part of them personally apart, and it feels really bad. But as someone who can sing and hold a tune, I feel like I can do that. I'm not sitting here tone deaf, like ripping into people, but I feel bad for doing it. That wasn't a good. It wasn't a good vocal.
No.
I feel bad saying that, and I don't think I'll be tagging this band when we put it up in the socials whose music was played, because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I don't. I just wouldn't play this. But the animation was quite cool.
Ish.
I feel really. I feel bad. I'm always trying to find the.
It's like feel like we go take a shower
Maybe I
after
need to.
listening to
Maybe
this.
I need to hear it again. Maybe I need to hear it again. But
Maybe that hair band can come back and rock us out a little bit here. Just...
when I criticize something, or I don't want to say criticize, when I give constructive feedback on something and it sounds a little bit negative, I always feel like I want to hear more of their stuff, so that I'm not just basing it on one track. But I don't know if I could listen to anything else. Like I would need to be in the right frame of mind to sit and do it, and I'd need to not be too tired, because I would fall asleep. Anyway, shall we read the email?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll read the email, and shall we make this the last one? Because I know that you're pushed for time, Jim.
Yes,
So
yes.
Yeah.
shall we make this? We'll just do 3 tracks this week. Do you know what I've done? I've accidentally closed the emails off. I'm sorry. Hang on a second. I don't know how I did that.
Yeah, I just hate it when I have to be negative about something, because I cannot sing. I cannot play any musical instruments. I mean, whenever I talk not cynical, but kind of critical about a band or an artist.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, at least I'm giving them all an A for effort. At least they have they're a step ahead of a lot.
The cojones to put it out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then again, and at the end of the day, you're right. Like, who the fuck are we to? There's an audience for everything, right?
Exactly.
So who are we to criticize? However, if you put your baby out into the world, you're going to get some opinions back on that. So take it in the spirit in which it's intended. There will be someone out here that will absolutely love it and want to.
Hello, Tom.
Play your stuff. So don't be taking it right. Hang on, let me open this. Have I got it?
Yeah,
I do.
you got it.
All right. Welcome in, Tom. Now let me just make this. Can we see this? Is it large enough? All right.
Yeah.
It's quite wordy as well. There's quite a lot of verbiage in the email, which is slightly annoying. Manchester's poke. I don't think that's what it says, Helen. Manchester's post-punk trio, Inca Babies, and 4 times John Peel guests. Oh, really? Present a new documentary on Ghost Mechanic 9, an intense exploration of goth, punk, death rock, jazz, blues. Frontman Harry Stafford traces their journey from their from their formation, 1983, in the legendary Hume Flats to where they are today in this ninth studio album, recorded and mixed with Simon Ding Archer, Fall, and PG Harvey. Okay, so it was recorded and mixed by someone who's worked with The Fall and PG Harvey. Why did it sound so shit? Designed as executive cities in the sky, these apparent complexes quickly become. Do you know what? This is too. It's too
Too wordy.
verbose. It's too verbose. It's too florid. We don't need all this.
Yeah. Cut to
Slums
the chase.
inhabited by students, artists, and druggies. Like, shut up. The album is a field day for fans of The Gun Club, Birthday Party, The Cramps, The Stooges, Link Ray, Screaming Blue Messiahs, and Killing Joke. Again, I don't hear any of those influences in
Right.
the track.
Nothing.
Nothing. I'm not going to bother reading all of the, because it's too much,
Yeah.
right?
It was
This is
mixed in big studio
and
records.
also, it's three dudes. Where's the lassie who was singing it?
Yeah, maybe we were listening to the wrong track. Maybe.
That was the track that was on the bottom of the Look
Yeah, I
how
know.
look how long the email is.
Yeah. That's
Oh my
problem right
God.
there.
Like, who has time to read through all that? You see how many emails I get sent. Who has
Yeah.
time for that? Look how long this is.
That was
then
definitely not that
shit.
bad because you have three guys and clearly.
it is because there's the video we just watched at the very
Right.
bottom, the first
Yeah.
one.
Yep.
It's on this email.
Yep.
So maybe they just brought in a guest vocalist or something, but I don't know. Anyway, what did we think? Was it a hit or was it a miss?
Sorry.
Next time.
Sorry.
I feel like if they had all that experience behind them, actually, it's even more disappointing, and you can barely see that because it's so bright. But mine says miss as well. Miss.
I mean, I don't hear anything like the Gun Club. I mean, heck, I can't even hear anything about like the Mekons.
Maybe we needed to hear a second track because it might have been one that was out there, but it was the first. It was the first video
That's
that was
true.
attached. They should make the one that they want to put out there. That should be the first one. Should be the one that's the one they want people to
Put the
listen
link
to.
right on the top with a very short one-paragraph summary about who they are.
The length of that email was just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I think a lot of bands try putting all of their info in one email just
Yeah.
in case you want to delve into it. But
Yeah.
the problem is that with like this, you don't know what to focus on. Like,
Right.
that's like their
It's
whole
too much.
story and all their videos. And
Right.
I think if you're going to promote, you need to just focus on that one.
Well, the thing is, most people who are putting radio shows together don't have time to read through all of that stuff. Just send the track, a few lines about the track, or maybe about your band, and then that's it. I don't have time to. And I'm not the only one, and I won't be the only person they're sending that to.
Right.
But we're all in the same boat, you know. Anyway,
Oh, I want you to check out my new band, okay? Here, I want you to read all of this, and here's the history of my band.
Go through everything.
I used a micro cassette recorder back in 1981, and then in 1983 I got a dual cassette deck to go with my record player. And then by 1988 I discovered I can't burn CDs yet, and I used a lot of stuff from LimeWire. So here, can you listen to this,
the
please?
thing is, right?
Try to find my song here.
As a fan and a lover of music, and we've all done this.
Yeah.
When you really like something, you
Right.
take it upon yourself to then go and investigate it. Right, you delve into it. If you want to, if you want the information, you will find the information, or you'll email them back and say, "That's really cool. Could you send me more info about blah, this, that, and the other?" But you know what I mean. But to just bombard you with, I mean, sometimes it's really hard to even find the track. There's that much
Exactly.
blurb. There's that much,
Yeah.
wording. Yeah, it's anyway. I'm off on my little rantage, and I'm trying to not have my little rantage. And I know that Jim's pushed for time, so we're going to call it a day there. What we'll do is we'll go around briefly and just, tell everybody who we all are. Shall we do it in reverse? Jeeves, do you want to go first? And we'll do it
Yeah.
reverse because I feel like
Yes.
Stefano always has to go first, and it feels unfair. So
Yeah, that's fine. I'm down for it.
Hang on, Jeevos, you go first.
Alrighty, I'm Mr. Twix. I'm an audio engineer, videographer, photographer, mix engineer, live sound engineer, you name it. I'm on Twitch. My name is Mr_Twix, and I DJ my set over there. So you can find me and email me whatever you want. Oh, good. That's me.
And if you
I'm
happen to play a saxophone,
yes.
particularly reach out because Jeeves is looking for a
I'm looking for a
sax.
sax player
Yeah.
for my JJ Kale to be banned. Thank you.
Oh, hi.
Jim.
Hi. I'm new to live streaming. My name is Jim. I am from the northwest suburbs of Chicago in my 10th year of live streaming from Periscope to Haps here to Twitch. I'm a music junkie like the amazing panel here on JukeBox Jury, where we listen to new cutting edge music and we determine if it is a hit or a miss. I am my Saturday night trivia broadcast here on the Twitch network at Jim in Chicagoland could be a hit or a miss too. We do general knowledge and music rounds we try to do every Saturday night. I do some chill casts as well. And again, I want to thank Helen and the crew here for having me on board for another edition of JukeBox Jury.
Dun, dun, dun. Sorry, just a little awkward moment there, Jim, just at the end, just to
You're good.
be on your toes. Stefano.
Hello, I'm Stefano Barberis, and I'm a music video director, and I'm also one half of the electronic synth pop band Breathe My Leaves with Jordan Gant singing. And and I live in the Vancouver area of Canada, and we're currently in a very large election sphere happening in Canada. So, that's basically it.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that to be quite so abrupt. That's not
Sorry.
right. I'm
I don't know
I'm
what else to
pressing
say.
buttons behind the scenes as well. I'm trying to like isolate noises and things that are going on in the background. My name is Helen. I am the host of Helen's Mixtape on 365 Radio, as well as obviously our monthly panel show JukeBox Jury that you've been sitting here lurking, watching, and not commenting on in the background. You bunch of weirdos over on Twitter Live. If you are a musician and you would like to send in your music to be potentially reviewed or played on radio, you can send it to me at info@helenwallace.co.uk. Please don't send an email like the last one that I just showed you that's like 5 pages long. I just need less than half a dozen sentences and the file. Just send me the file and a couple of sentences and I'll see what I can do when we try and get it played. We do JukeBox Jury once a month, where we basically open up the emails and you've basically just witnessed it. People are just coming in and asking what's going on. We listen to tracks that have been submitted to be played on radio, and we decide whether or not they're a hit or a miss. Essentially, that's what we've been doing. We are wrapping up because we started a little bit late, and Jim is required elsewhere. So, thank you all for tuning in. I'm not quite sure when the next one will be, but it'll be at some point in May. Stefano, have an absolutely superb birthday.
Happy
Happy
buddy.
birthday, man.
Thank you.
And you can tell us
Thanks.
all about it
Wow.
next time when we come back. And we'll wrap this up. So thank you to those of you that are lurking and not saying anything. Thanks to those that did come in and did speak. And make sure you come back next time. If you go on to jukeboxjury.info, all of the information about all the panelists and all the social media and all the channels that gets put out on there and all the replays are all on the website. So jukeboxjury.info and all the information is there. Thank you for being here and cheerio, bye, ta-ta.
Ciao.